It's a really rough spot for this team, and it's incredibly disappointing given where the expectation coming into the season of what they could be, and they've woefully underachieved to this point. One Royal Way back at it here on Kansas City Sports Network. I'm Joel Penfield. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Coming off of a brutal sweep once again by the New York Yankees. The Royals have lost, including the playoffs, 14 consecutive games to the New York Yankees, last beating them on Game 2 of the American League Division Series in New York. That's the last time that's happened. That's the longest streak by the Yankees in the entire history of the Royals and the Yankees playing. It's brutal. They're in a really, really rough spot now, 22-34. They're back dead last in the AL Central. It's them and the Tigers at the bottom, just like we would have all predicted coming into the season. Talk about some of the stuff that's happened this week. I'm not going to be any massive deep dive on either game. I mean, they got outscored 22-1 in the last two games after kind of having their heart ripped out on Monday, losing 3-4, when I felt like that really took some of the wind out of the sails. That, as we talked about, like, I don't think they turned their season around, right, winning those two games against Seattle, but it felt like they had gained some momentum heading back in the other direction after a rough stretch. And then it just completely gets the rug just gets pulled out from underneath them in those on Monday. And then they just get embarrassed on Tuesday and Wednesday at Kauffman Stadium. Off day tomorrow before a 10-game road trip. And we'll see what this team has left in them. I don't know what they have left at this point, but we'll talk about it and, what's next and some news and notes from the week itself. This show, as always, brought to you by Emprise Bank, member FDIC, our partners in possible here at Kansas City Sports Network. Be sure to like, rate, subscribe, review on the audio side, the video side. We appreciate the support. Hit those notification bells on your apps so you know when these shows go live. When we do post-game shows, we'll give a little bit of warning. The next post-game show is going to be Sunday, so the final game of the Texas Rangers series. We did 3 consecutive, and then this show, I'm feeling the burnout a little bit. I think a lot of that is due to the team being where it is, but, can only control so much, right now. Be sure to leave us a 5-star review on the audio side. We do appreciate that support. Okay. So last time we talked was after the game on Monday where they lose 4-3. And that, to me, like, being in that clubhouse, like, I've been in there after plenty of losses, right? Like, it happens. It's a 162-game season. You're going to have games where you lose and, you kind of take stuff away. That one felt different. Like, walking out of there, I was like, that loss feels heavier than most. And I wondered what they were going to have left. A bullpen game is always tricky. It's hard to have any sort of expectation. Like, we don't know how this is going to go. And they start Bailey Falter, and he goes 2 1/3, gives up 7 runs, 3 home runs, 9 hits in 2 1/3 innings. And that just kind of set the course for what we're going to see the rest of the game. I mean, no Royals pitcher between Luinder Avila, who gave up 7 hits and 3 runs in his 3 innings. Steven Cruz, he struck out 4, but he also gave up a home run in an inning and 2/3. Eli Morgan gave up 2 earned, and then Tyler Tolbert, as it was a mercy killing, he goes in and pitches the 9th inning, and he gives up 2 runs. So 15 runs on 24 hits. Every Yankee starter had at least 2 hits. Grisham 3, Judge 2 with 2 walks, Bellinger 2, Goldschmidt 2, Rice 3, Ahmed Rosario had 4 hits, Jazz Chisholm had 2, Anthony Volpe had 3, Austin Wells had 3. just like batting practice is essentially what we had there. And after the game, when Bailey Falter talks from the starting pitcher, always talks to the reporters after the game, or the media that's there, and the quotes that Annie Rogers had in her post-game article on MLB.com from Bailey Falter said this: just didn't have anything behind the ball today. So I don't know if that's just being in the bullpen for 5 days and then getting a start, or not really having a role, just rolling with the punches right now. And he said that, and then Andy goes on to say, despite Matt Contreras saying pregame Tuesday that he felt Falter would be in a better spot with time to prepare for this start, Falter seemed frustrated with his role. Quote, I've been in the bullpen the past few days, been trying to do my bullpen routine, trying to stay ready, just in case I do get in the game. And then just another last-minute start kind of just throws a whole wrench in the plan. Okay, so a few things here. One, not really having a role. Your role all season, not talking directly to Bailey Falter, his role all season has been long relief. He was not in the starting rotation to begin this year. His role was, can you give us a couple innings out of the bullpen when we need it? That's his role. He was not a starter. He wasn't a high leverage reliever. His role never changed. So I don't know what that is. And I think Matt Contreras makes a great point. Yeah, like, with 2 injuries to your rotation, Cole Reagan's being set back, you probably knew you were going to get another bullpen spot because there's not a lot of depth. There's no depth starters to come up right now from Omaha. And the only one that could have was Mitch Spence, who threw 3 innings and gave up 15 hits and 13 earned runs in Omaha the same day. So it's not like your depth in Omaha is helping you right now, or they're hurt. And then it's not another last minute start. You knew this was coming. And to say that, and what feels to me like a complete lack of accountability, is infuriating. Like, you go out there and you give up 7 earned runs and 2 1/3, and you have for the season a 13 ERA near 14. To say that you're frustrated about where you're at, you're kind of lucky to be in the big leagues right now at that point. And ultimately, this happens. And, like, to me, not being able to separate a start from a bullpen spot is a personal problem. You're not asked to. This is a bullpen game, which means we need 2 innings from you. Go treat it like you're due in the 7th inning, right? Just go blow smoke, 2 innings, and then turn it over. That's all they needed. Treat it like a bullpen outing, if that's what you have to do. If you're trying to get your bullpen routine and trying to do your bullpen routine, just treat it the same. You're not starting the game. You're not going to throw 70 pitches. You're going to throw 2 innings and then hand it over to Avila. I mean, even if you didn't blow smoke, you probably still get lit up like a Christmas tree like you did in this game. But just treat it the same. I thought that was just a weird level of excuse making and a lack of accountability for a guy that has, in 9 appearances for the Royals, given up 2 or more runs in 8 of them. Like, he wasn't good enough. And ultimately, earlier today, he was designated for assignment. Mason Black brought back up, so I believe that has the Royals that has the 40-man roster at 39, so I'll be curious how they end up filling that particular spot. But yeah, Bailey Falter ends his career in Kansas City with 9 appearances, a 12.46 ERA in 21 2/3 innings. He gave up 6 home runs in those 21 innings and struck out 17 and walked 13. So he's kind of in a weird list of pitchers that were, frankly, just not very good. Negative 1.3 WAR during that time as well. So that closes the book on him. I imagine he ends up getting to free agency. I don't think he's going to end up in Omaha. I think given the statements, and the things he said to the media on the way out, I don't believe he will be back. But it's a tricky spot now, because even if he was not necessarily very effective in that role, he still provided one, is that long relief type. They probably just, now that role shifts to Luinder Avila and just give him those innings. Even if I disagree with that being his role, because I think he's going to be best suited long-term as a 1 inning, maybe 2 inning reliever. The stuff just plays better that way. We've seen it when he's in those types of outings. The stuff is way better. When they try and extend them out, it's not as good. We'll see how things play out over the next couple of months with how they move around Avila's role and finding the right spot for him. I mean, there's a lot here, and I think I'm gonna spend a little more time on like just the bullpen in general, probably later on. Do want to talk about as well, they're going to have to make some sort of move for rotation spots, because Bubic is still on the shelf. Seems like he's trending okay. I heard him saying the close it was more of a forearm thing than an elbow, but those things can be related. So he seems like he's fine. He seemed confident he'll be able to come back pretty soon. Probably after the road trip. Cole Reagans went from pitching on Saturday. He pitched in Omaha on the rehab start. Sunday, when we talked to Q, said he came out of it good, felt ready to go. No setbacks, no issues. And then he woke up on Monday and felt soreness again, like something in his elbow. It just nothing while he was throwing, nothing in the immediate after, nothing the day after, just that second day got him. So they shut him back down for a couple of days. I don't believe he's even throwing again, at least at this point right now. Let me see if there's been an update today that I potentially missed. But if that's the case, then Cole's going to miss probably another few weeks before he's ramped back up. So right now, let me see here, shut down 2 or 3 days. Yeah, so he hasn't even, he hasn't even started throwing yet. So maybe the next couple of days, maybe he starts throwing on the road trip or something like that. Maybe that shows up. But that's still now, you have 4 spots in your rotation right now, right? Cameron, Kolick, Waka. It's still going to be a bullpen day. I imagine that means Luinder Avila essentially becomes a starter, to some degree. It's like a piggyback day between like a Mason Black and Luinder Avila, however they want to do it. But it's going to be really tricky, and it's going to be really taxing on the bullpen on those particular days. And if a starter has a blow up leading into that, it's going to be even tougher on the bullpen that's already struggling really outside of Daniel Lynch. I mean, what this organization did leading into the season to provide as much depth as they could to mitigate all the injuries, potential injuries, and to have guys that could shuffle in, it's kind of went to hell, and not anything bad, not anything like that they couldn't have predicted. Like they did what they could, but then the depth gets hurt too. So like it all just went to hell, and they're like just out of their control, right? Things that the point I was trying to make was that for things that are kind of out of their control, everything has just blown up in that regard. So they're probably going to have to go and find some more major league depth and bring it to AAA. Like, cause I don't think Aaron Sanchez is going to throw for this team. I don't think Ryan Ramsey, in AAA is going to throw for this team. Like they've already kind of, they probably get Eric. You probably can bring Eric Sarantola back up, and maybe that's somebody that you can go to. But man, like it's really, really tricky right now. I'll talk about some of the bullpen shuffling here, and we'll just go ahead and do that now. We're almost at 15 minutes. So on the other side of the break, talk about the kind of go back a little bit of the game on Monday and talk about some of the bullpen reshuffling they can do. Maybe what Daniel Lynch's role is moving forward, maybe what Luinder Avila's role is going forward. We'll do that right on the other side of this break.
The attorneys at Northland Injury Law have been serving the Kansas City area for over 40 years, helping people with serious injuries from car accidents, work accidents, falls, and other personal injuries. They want to help you, and we don't get paid unless we get money for you. If you have a case, call 816-400-HURT. That's 816-400-4878 now.
My name is Terrell Jolly. A lot of people call me TJ, founder and CEO of Integrity Capital Management. So Integrity Capital Management originally started out as a property management firm, but we slowly transitioned to what is described as an incremental development firm that's focused on situational housing. I know most people say affordable, but we believe in creating housing for people that are actually in need and built to the end user. I believe everyone needs a home because when you have home, you have hope. The reality is that when you're building a business, one thing you don't think about is like what a true banking relationship means. And, I had the honor and privilege of meeting Debbie early on in my career when I was just trying to get going. And as a small business, it's really challenging at times because people don't understand the concept or not believe the longevity because you're just getting started. But Debbie was willing to take a chance on me, be patient with me. I almost look at it like a grassroots initiative. She's seen and believe what I'm about. Anybody that's really true about their business and want to get some things done, I would definitely trust hands down Emprise because Deb's team, along with Aaron and Jackie and all the amazing people that work behind the scenes, even from the treasury side, I would say, hey, give them an opportunity because you won't be disappointed and you will actually be in hands that actually somebody care and that will see you from start to finish.
David Starnes Allstate Insurance is a proud partner of KC Sports Network, serving the Kansas City area and all throughout the Midwest. If you are looking for new coverage or something that better suits your home, auto, health, or any of your other insurance needs, give Dave and his team a call. Elevate your coverage and be worry-free with David Starnes Allstate Insurance.
You know that moment, the one when you realize you left your favorite sunglasses at the beach or on the roof of your car or at the gas station 3 states away. Well, I've been there too. Then I found Shady Rays and it changed the game. These sunglasses are made for real life. Seriously, good-looking, polarized, durable, and not stupidly expensive. And here's the wild part. If you lose them or break them, even on day one, Shady Rays will send you a brand new pair. No guilt trip, just replacements. So now I actually wear my sunglasses without fear on hikes, at concerts, on the boat, wherever. They have sunglasses for golfing, fishing, hiking, and biking, even sunglasses for kids. Shady Rays is eyewear that has your back. Go to shadyrays.com and use code KCSN for 40% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. So to me, the biggest story that came out of that game on Monday was Lucas Ursay having back-to-back outings that were really rough. I mean, he comes into a non-save situation on Monday after not throwing for a week, and he gives up 3 earned runs, and it was not great. But as Kevin and I talked about, you can chalk some of that up, to rust, which is totally fair and something that does happen to those high leverage, winning time, relievers. That if they don't throw for a week, they can have a rough outing. Like I was willing to kind of put that to the side, but you can't say that on Monday. He didn't have the swing and miss. He got knocked around. He is some bad batted ball, just combination of everything, right? And it's at a point now where I'm like, man, can you continue to send Lucas Ursay out there? At least right now. Like, I don't know. I mean, maybe maybe you're just at a point right now, being 12 games under 500, just after Memorial Day, that it's just like, hey, we're going to keep sending him out there and just see if we can get some wins, right? Like, we don't know if anyone else can handle this. This may be a way to try Daniel Lynch in that spot, and showcase him in that role. Maybe come July, maybe able to sell high on him. I'm not sure I don't think they would do that, but it would be a way to. But there's just the problem right now with this bullpen is the bullpen's ebb and flow throughout a season. I thought Nick Mears was going to be really good. He has not been great, for the last couple of weeks specifically. Alex Lang is who he is. To John Schreiber's credit, he's had a solid couple of weeks, but we also know that he can have a couple of weeks coming up here soon where he's getting knocked around and his volatility is incredibly high. we've seen Luinder Avila in legitimate reliever spots, not necessarily high leverage, but legitimate spots. And he's been good, but it doesn't seem like they want to use him in those roles. They still want him to start. So they're kind of got a hand in both buckets like they did with Daniel Lynch for a couple of years, where they still want to have him stretched out to start, but also use him out of the bullpen and keep giving him big league innings. And it's just like, pick one. Because once Daniel Lynch, like, all in on the 1-inning reliever thing, we've seen what's happened. He's become really good. I mean, probably they're the best reliever on this team. I think Luinder can be that same guy if they just bite the bullet and make him a 1-inning guy, right? Like, that's just the way that I'm looking at this. And it isn't necessarily like without precedent. You know, a guy that started in the minor leagues, you know, for at least a little period of time was, did he start? I don't know why I thought Greg Hollins started games. For some reason, I thought he did. He did for a little bit in high A, and then he just became a reliever and became a very good one. But I think it was just one of those, when you just commit to that role, ultimately that can change so much for him and be a big reason why, you know, he had success. I'm not saying that Luinder Avila becomes Greg Holland, but I think it just becomes clear, like, when a guy is a reliever, just make him a reliever. Because when they've tried to do the half and half thing with Daniel Lynch, it was the middling guy that I was really low on coming into the year, but clearly things have changed, you know, with how we view Daniel Lynch now. I've been advocating, I've been pounding the table for Luinder Avila to become that guy, and I still think he can be. It's just a matter of, will they actually do it or not? And we'll see as things move forward. Steven Cruz, I think they're still going to give opportunities to, because the stuff is good, but the execution is really poor. And then with Lucas Erceg, like, I don't know what to make of him anymore. You know, the guy that we saw 2 years ago is nothing like the guy we're seeing now. Like, there's no swing and miss. He's getting hit around. The strikeout rate's coming up a little bit, but he's still walking way too many guys. You know, it's a 5.06 ERA. The expected's 3.85. So, you know, it'll come back in the direction, but the whip's 1.6, almost 1.7. And in 2024, he was an elite, or a really, you know, high level swing and miss guy. And Chase, none of that now. And he's almost getting nothing in that regard. And as a closer, back end reliever, you have to have at least a little bit of that. Otherwise, you're playing with fire, like we saw on Monday. Enough batted balls getting play against you in the 9th inning in a 1-run game, you know, you're going to get burned by it. But they just don't have a lot of other answers. Like, Daniel Lynch is literally the only answer that they could make as an alternative in the 9th inning. Otherwise, you're shuffling you're rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. Like, there's just no good answer right now. But how much does it matter when you're 12 games under 500? You know, it's a really rough spot for this team, and it's incredibly disappointing given where the expectation coming into the season of what they could be, and they've woefully underachieved to this point. And this doesn't even really get into the offense that's gone dormant the last really 3 games. You know, they got bailed out by Salvi and Bobby hitting the home runs. Bobby hit a home run on Tuesday off Schlittler, but that's been it. There's been nothing else. Like today against Garrett Cole in his second start, you know, off of Tommy John back in the big leagues, he gets 6 2/3, 4 hits, no runs, 10 strikeouts, no walks. I mean, they had no answers. You know, Bobby goes 0 for 4 today. Vinny goes 0 for 4. Carter goes 0 for 3. Cags goes 0 for 3. And there's just, they had nothing. And the offense is kind of, it's going to ebb and flow with this team. And Bobby's still great, but he's the only one with any sort of consistency on this offense. And Salvi's been better lately to his credit, but there's just like right now, the formula for them to win is can you, just like it was last year, can you score 3? Can your starter keep you in the game long enough? And can your bullpen, can you just cross your fingers that the bullpen's going to hang on? At least last year, Carlos Estevez was going to lock down the 9th inning. Right, he had 42 saves last year. You know, they won 82 games. He saved 42 of them. So like they had that at least last year. It was, can you get the game to Estevez? They don't even really have that right now. Because I don't know if they're going to toss Daniel Lynch in that reliever in that closer spot. By all accounts, like at least from what Q said on Monday, when I was in the post-game presser, they're still confident in Lucas. The leaders on that team are still confident in him. You know, they want him in that 9th inning, which is the right thing to say as a teammate to the public forward facing. But I don't know if they can do it. Yeah, like if they're really still trying to win some of these games, like their best option is Daniel Lynch in the 9th inning, in my opinion. At this point, the problem is who the hell else is going to throw these high leverage innings? You know, maybe when Strom gets back, that's going to help, but by how much? Like a little bit, but I don't think Strom is this massive difference maker. He's good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to downplay what he means, but I think at that point, your only other serious high leverage reliever that you trust is him. Maybe Lucas Erceg is just better as, not in the 9th inning, in the 7th, in the 8th, in some of these roles. But even still, Lucas Erceg in 2024 was way better in those roles because he could get swing and miss. He can get strikeouts when he came into a muddy inning. He can't get that anymore. He right now does not have the ability to go and just get a strikeout when he needs it. And it's hampering everything. Like it's making everything around it just worse and worse. And there are, maybe guys in the minors that might be able to help you, like Eric Sarantola. Maybe I think the strikeout stuff is there, but I don't with the slider. But overall, don't think he's necessarily a high leverage reliever. I like Dennis Colleran Jr. in Double-A, but he walks the world even if the stuff is really good. So like there's not a lot of good options. And the depth that they built got hurt as well, and the guys that they're relying on have also gotten hurt. So it's just been a combination of everything that could go wrong kind of has in some areas, and some of the worst case scenarios that would make this team, fall short of expectation has come true. It's just feels like everything that could go wrong has. They're hoping the offense would take a step forward and some of the runners and scoring position stuff would sort itself out. And it has. They're hoping that, Michael would continue on, what he's doing. And he's been okay, but not great. You're hoping Vinny was going to be able to build on what he did last year, and he hasn't. You're hoping that Carter and Jack would take steps forward. And to some degree, Jack has taken a step forward, but still a long ways to go. And Carter has, kind of hit a little bit of a rookie wall. You're hoping Isaac Collins was going to be a huge difference maker for you. That was part of the bet on him, was that his floor would be high enough that it would help elevate things. And he does walk, but there hasn't been a lot of else. Like it's tough, man. Like this is kind of is what it is right now. I don't think there is unless things just completely come back to the mean and even give you some positive, progression and some of the batted ball luck. You get 2 weeks of really good batted ball luck and some really good batted ball luck on the pitching side as well. Like this just kind of is where we're at right now with this team. Like they are where they are for a reason. And right now I fail to see the path forward, like in the turn the season around aspect. So then now we have to readjust our expectations for where this team is going to be, where they're going to head, and what the next couple of months look like. The trade deadline is going to be really interesting. They're not knowing what I know and being around this group, they're not going to go full blow up. But I am curious what they decide to sell on, who they decide to, if they get to that point. Do they soft buy in a couple of areas to get some guys that are like young, controllable, like a Cole Reagans, like an Isaac Collins, like they've tried to do, in recent years, and hope that maybe they can do things that way. I don't know. Oh man, it's hard right now, man. It really is. I'm not, obviously not giving up because there's so much baseball to play. Like being defeatist and miserable and all that's just not worth it. But it is difficult right now when there was legitimate playoff expectation and they fall short. But the Royals are not alone in that. Like Houston came into the year with some of that. They've fallen short. Obviously, injuries have played a big factor there. The Tigers, similar to Kansas City, have just fallen on their face. The Mets have fallen on their face this year. Like, the Red Sox are a team that thought that maybe they could be. I didn't think they'd be amazing, but I thought they'd be a wild card team, and they're not great as well. I know they swept Kansas City, but they're not a very good team either, right? So there's a lot of teams that are kind of in a similar boat to Kansas City right now and just can't. Are they going to be able to dig themselves out of it enough to where they feel like this wasn't a complete dumpster fire? Or do they sit in it and really use this as a reset of some kind to like change directions? I don't know what that looks like. But 110 some odd games left, a little under at this point. There's going to be a lot to watch for over the next couple of months to see where this team heads. And I'll be really curious to see what that looks like as we move forward into the dog days of summer and see where things head. I was curious, as the season progressed. I was sitting there thinking as I was at the game the other day, man, I feel like I haven't seen Carter Jensen hit a home run in a while. And so I just went through and I found some droughts. I thought this was interesting. Just homerless droughts for this team because Salvi and Bobby feels like they're the only ones that are really doing it right now. And Michael Garcia hasn't hit a home run since April 30th. Carter hasn't hit one since April 22nd. He hit 6 in April, and you thought, oh shoot, he might get to 20. Now I'm like, is he gonna get to 15? Jack hasn't hit one since the 16th. The home run he hit in St. Louis. Isaac Collins hasn't hit one since May 5th. Vinny hasn't hit one since May 7th, and Kyle Isbell hasn't hit one since April 22nd. So just for the fact that they moved the fences in to try and help, they're moving the fences and this will help, bring a little bit of power, help with some of that. And it, hasn't quite gone in that way. I am curious where the Royals rank among all teams when it comes to home runs. Now that I'm thinking about it here. They are 20th. So 51 home runs. The lowest in the league is the Milwaukee Brewers. But the Brewers are really good. I like that. Tampa Bay has one of the best records in the league, and they had the third least. Like Junior Caminero and Aranda are like the only two guys that actually hit the home runs on that team. So it's kind of interesting. I thought that number would be a lot lower, but surprisingly, it's not. Batting average around the league is just kind of wild. Like highest team batting average right now is 262, and then the league lowest is 218. The Royals are 19th right now at 236. So like league average is like 240 right now. Shows how good the pitching is. We're kind of in one of these areas right now where pitching is just dominating right now, just totally. I'll be honest, I don't have much more for you guys right now. I mean, there's only so much more that we can really get to. I just kind of at a loss. I'll be honest. Like, what more do you say after 15-1 and 7-0. And just, you get kicked in the nuts on Monday when you thought you maybe had a chance to snap a streak against the Yankees, and it just devolves into 2 just beatdowns at home right before you hit a 10-game road trip. I don't know. It's tough, man. Like I said, 10-game off day tomorrow. Travel day, true off day in Arlington. Friday, Saturday, Sunday series against Texas Rangers. It'll be Kolick on Friday. Still TBD for the Texas Rangers on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They have not announced their starters, but it'll be Kolick, it'll be Lugo, and then it will be Waka for Kansas City for those 3 games. Said normally we do 2 post games. We're just going to drop it down to 1 for now, just to give a little bit of a break. Spend a little more time with my family, while I can. Because I was really, busy with it this past weekend. So Sunday afternoon, and first pitch for that game will be 1:35. So right around 4:30, 5 o'clock, we should have a post game show for you guys, recapping that game, the series. Hopefully it goes well. Maybe we'll get a couple of wins, not like the Rangers or world beaters. They got no hit by the Astros, combined no hitter, and they got blasted today, if I recall. As I'm looking at this here, they didn't get blasted. It was 4-3. I think Jordan hit 2 home runs. So, yeah, we'll see, man. Thank you guys for listening to me ramble here for last half hour or so. And again, I don't know what else there is to say. The season is what it is at this point. Thank you all for tuning in, sticking with me through this. Make sure to like, rate, subscribe, review. As I mentioned earlier, leave us a 5-star review on the audio side as well. That is greatly appreciated. And we will talk on Sunday for a live post game show after the final game down in Arlington. Take care, everybody.